For the second time this week, Central Valley Fuego hosts a crucial playoff matchup here at home at Fresno State Soccer Stadium in Fresno, California, this time against Union Omaha. Earlier in the week, it was against Chattanooga in this playoff race. Now it's Omaha, and there's not much separating these teams in the USL League One playoff chase. Joe Malpe here with you this evening for the action between Fuego and Omaha. Villian Bijev will need to get back on the right track tonight if Fuego wants to put its best foot forward here in this month of August that features so many home games. This is the second of those. Time for the team lead with 5 goals, and he is going to have to come up big tonight. On the other side, Union Omaha also struggle when it comes to the goal-scoring department. Connor Doyle, he creates the chances. The question is, who's going to step up tonight and finish them? Jay Mims believes the breakthrough is on the horizon for Union Omaha. These two teams are neck and neck in the live table right now. 8th place Union Omaha on 24 points. 9th place Central Valley Fuego on 23 points. A win for Omaha could take them as high as 4th. A win for Fuego could take them as high as 5th. There's a lot going on right now in the USL League One playoff race, and this matchup will go a long way in untangling this massive ball of yarn that is the League One table. It's Fuego and Omaha next on ESPN+.
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals. I'm on that real team. Routine.
Referees and players taking the field here at Fresno State Soccer Stadium. Union Omaha, Central Valley Fuego meeting now for the second time this season. You have to go all the way back to near the end of April for the first clash between these two clubs, and it resulted in a hefty victory for Union Omaha as they take the field tonight. Unbeaten in the last 7 games here, Union Omaha. They got the upper hand on Fuego when the teams first met. Hamatani led the charge off the post and in to make it 1. And from there, they pour in 2 more. I mentioned they struggled to score goals on the season. They did not struggle on this night. They only have 17 goals all season long. Union Omaha to pour in 3. That's a hefty percentage, all coming in 1 game. And they've got that same opponent in front of them tonight in Fuego to see if they can spur things offensively once more on the right track. Look at the starting lineups for both clubs, beginning with Martin Vasquez of Central Valley Fuego. Not too many changes from the lineup we saw the other night in terms of the personnel. They might move around the board a little bit more, but at the end of the day, it boils down to this. Is Bijev scoring for you? If yes, you might win. If not, it's going to be a long night for Central Valley Fuego as they try to get back on track. On the other side for Union Omaha, a lineup, again, sees a lot of familiar faces. Luis Gil comes into the lineup for Union Omaha, but Rashid Nuhu leads the way in the Golden Glove race for Jay Mims. Very tough team to break down for all of their issues in terms of scoring. They do not struggle when it comes to keeping the opposition out of their own net. Referee Joseph Salinas sets the watch. "91 degrees tonight in Fresno. Balmy, considering what it was on Wednesday, at 100 degrees between Fuego and Chattanooga. Underway between Fuego and Omaha. Two teams neck and neck right below the playoff line. A win for either could bring them above that line at night's end. Here at Fresno State Soccer Stadium. Joe Malfa here with you. Glad to have you along on ESPN+. Busy day all across League One. 4 matches tonight in a loaded slate. And an early chance at a free kick for Union Omaha. Already tonight we've seen the Richmond Kickers come away with 3 points against FC Tucson at halftime right now because of a lengthy weather delay. Chattanooga Red Wolves up 2-1 on Greenville. Northern Colorado just took a lead now in the 74th minute at home against Tormenta. And of course we just kicked off here in the 4th and final game of the evening. We saw action last night as well. Turned out to be a 0-0 draw between Charlotte and Madison, so we did see action. It wasn't much action, but it was still soccer nonetheless. Noe Meza stands over the free kick. When your team's struggling for goals, set pieces can prove vital. Meza strikes it well, just over the bar. It had Ofak Ant-Man worried, but he seemed to have had it covered. At this point of the season for Union Omaha, it's a matter of turning draws into victories. It's all fine and dandy to be 7 matches unbeaten. But you look at that run of 7, you count them up, 5 have been draws. And it's why they are still below the playoff line on the season. 9 ties coming into the night for Union Omaha. At that point, it's almost better to just pick up a few losses along the way if it means victories. You do the quick math, 9 ties, that's 9 points. So is 3 wins and 6 losses in those same 9 games. A different outlook overall, perhaps, because you've lost 6 of 9. No team would sign up for that. But at the end of the day, losing 6 of 9 but winning the other 3 is the same point tally as 9 ties. Jay Mims was the last coach to panic when it comes to draws like that. It means your team is performing well, and perhaps a matter of time before things start breaking your way a little bit more. Whipped in from the free kick. Dealt with well. Sharif Daye leading the charge. Has some help to his right. Feeds Bijev. Bijev looking back toward Daye. Ken Lesotho also up the field in that attack. Bijev right to Nuhu. There is Billion Bijev. A lot of people, they might say he's a cut above this league. He's exactly where he wants to be. Franchise that sprung up in his own backyard under the USL umbrella, where he's had so much success as a player. Martin Vasquez looks on, already going to the notebook. Wonder what he might have seen early on already. That needs a few scribbles. Coach Sam Strong, joined not too long ago on loan from Monterey Bay FC and USL Championship. Offside flag comes up on Bijev. Three-match homestand after this road trip here for Union Omaha. If they could come away with points on the road going into those three at home, it would set up very nicely as they battle in this tight playoff race. Doyle sets up heel. Joe Brito lost it for a moment. Dye clears. Quickly taken. Cerritos. Don't forget tonight on the bench as well for Union Omaha, as they've added some players here in the dog days of summer. Corey Herzog has the third most goals in USL Championship regular season history. Actually played against Omaha this year in US Open Cup. He had a brief cup of coffee with Des Moines Menace as one of the non-professional qualifiers to the US Open Cup. Jay Mims was a college assistant coach at Penn State when he first crossed the path of Corey Herzog. Mims believes there's still a little bit left to squeeze out of the career of Herzog in a system that suits him well here in Omaha. Quickly taken volley. Ant-Man wise to it. Not a bad strike from Ryan Jiba. Signing of Corey Herzog came just about a week after Luis Hill entered the fold. Spent 7 years at MLS, 2 caps for the U.S. men's national team. Began his career in terrific form with Real Salt Lake in MLS. MLS Cup runners-up in 2013, 11 goals that season. Since then has bounced back and forth between Liga MX and MLS. Player who has a lot of experience, a lot of talent, to a club looking for another playoff push with 1 star already above the crest after lifting the trophy last year in USL League One. Now Jiba again toward the back post. Where would that have ended up if not for the intervention? Now out for a corner. Take away Omaha's 3-goal outburst against Fuego the last time they met. And this Omaha team just has 14 goals in 15 games. That's under a goal per game. Has to be better. Set pieces need to be taken advantage of. Swing and a miss from Luis Hill. Cerritos. Back to Bijev. Dye, good move, gets his defender to fly by. Still Dye, sends it goalward. Rashid Nuhu knocks it out for a corner, brought to you by El Mexicano. Corner taken well at the back post. Don't forget, Diego Casillas is not available for selection tonight for Fuego after the red card he picked up in the midweek against Chattanooga. Jay Mims, always animated on the bench. The track record he has put together in a very short time in USL League One, second to none. The final that never was in 2020, they would have played in it. The final that was in 2021, they won it. They also found a way through to the US Open Cup quarterfinal in their first ever appearance. In the midst of a 7-match unbeaten run. They're out above the playoff line right now. If I had to venture a guess, I'd say he'd find a way to get his team above that line eventually. At some point, law of averages will end up back in your favor. Tough to only lose 2 games all season long and miss out. 9 draws hurts the cause, but still, everybody else in the league has at least 4 losses. Omaha just at 2. That 4-loss team is Madison. You put your hand over them in the standings and look everywhere else. All the other teams have at least 6 losses. It's not even close. Omaha with 2, by far the fewest. Madison led the league in draws last year in League One. They did miss the playoffs. However, they had quite a few more losses than Omaha, with just their 2. Most important aspect of things right now for Union Omaha, they do still have games in hand on every other team ahead of them. In the live table, tied on points with Hailstorm, they have 3 games in hand. 1 point back of Madison with a game in hand. 1 point back of Charlotte with 2 games in hand. 2 points back of Tormenta with 2 games in hand. And 3 points back of Chattanooga with 3 games in hand. I have not heard the last from this Omaha team in the playoff race. Well within the realm of possibility. If they get into the form we know they're capable of, they not only end up with a playoff game, but a bye when all is said and done, given the games in hand. Ryan Jiba. Doyle, patient, given the space. Now Skiers. Skiers leads the way, or tied for the lead, excuse me, with 4 goals on the season for Omaha. And your holding midfielder is tied for the lead with only 4. That's when you know you've struggled on the season in terms of the goal scoring. You want to see that Select ball enter the net. Celebrating its 75th anniversary, Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of USL League One. Choose what you play with at www.selectsportamerica.com. Select, League's choice, player's choice. About some of the acquisitions for Omaha, and Herzog and Heel. We also might see tonight Adrian Vera make his debut for Central Valley Fuego. Over 130 USL Championship appearances under his belt. Still in his early 20s, a lot of good days ahead of him. Martin Vasquez jumped at the idea of bringing in Vera, and we might see him tonight. Bijev. Over the top into the path of Bijev, knew who's there. Made the contact, and it is a point to the spot. There was some hesitation from Joseph Salinas. Rashid Nuhu believes the call incorrect. It was a yellow card for Nuhu. There was body contact. There's no question about that. I don't know that he got enough of the ball to make that claim. It will be Viljan Bijev. He's been stuck on 5 goals. Over the last 2 years, Bijev has taken 5 penalties in USL play. 4 have been converted. He's gone low into the right 3 times and low into the left twice. He spreads it around, but all 5 of his takes were on the ground. Nuhu pointing to the left. Will Bijev listen? He doesn't, and it's stopped by Nuhu. The mind games pay off. Nuhu cleans up the mess he made, and we're still scoreless. Perhaps Bijev should have listened when Nuhu pointed left. Just feels like there is a lid on the goal right now for Fuego. Bijev from the corner. I say that not only because they've been struggling to score in general, but now the way it's happening. Don't forget Wednesday night, dying embers of stoppage time against Chattanooga. They had a penalty that was missed, and now they have a penalty that's saved just 15 minutes in. So in the last 20 minutes of game action, spanning Wednesday into today, Fuego have been unsuccessful on 2 penalties in this same direction. It's that little stop step. It's been made famous in Europe by Jorginho. It's part of the reason why Italy ended up missing the World Cup. That's a double-edged sword when you take the penalty like that. Have to execute it perfectly, get the keeper to go the wrong way. Because if you, in the middle of your run-up, see that the keeper goes the right way, now you're left scrambling on what to do, and you produce a lackluster penalty like that. Skiers. Kamatani in front. Noe Meza had an opportunity. How often do you see in games penalty stop at one end or some sort of big defensive play? Could be anything, doesn't have to be a penalty stop. Lead to an offensive spurt at the other end. Take advantage of that momentum, that psychological swing. Going back to that loss for Fuego, 3-0 at the hands of Omaha back in April. It wasn't too concerning for Martin Vasquez. A long time ago, these teams have changed significantly since then. Remember, it's August. That is almost 4 months ago. Wins were in the 40s that day. Significantly impacted how the play went. One thing they did was sit down and watch film of the Chattanooga-Omaha game. Help them prepare for both these matchups in the same week, Fuego. Interesting tactic for Martin Vasquez. 2 birds, 1 stone. Probably pressing the pause button a lot in a situation like that. You watch film on one team, you're pressing pause to see something they're maybe doing offensively. When you're looking at both teams, surveying their offense and their defense, it's probably a lengthy video session spent on one game, but efficient nonetheless, getting the Red Wolves and Owls prep done. Turned over in the middle for Heel. Played off to the wing. Kamatani would like it back. Don't miss a minute of the action in 2022, whether your club is on the road or at home. Get Catch nearly every second of USL League One action on ESPN+, home of the USL, MLS, La Liga, Bundesliga, UFC, and more. Sign up today at plus.espn.com. Vasquez in the background barking out the orders. Great ball played through to Kamatani, but he couldn't get a touch on it. Harmlessly out for a goal kick. Last match Omaha played was that thriller that finished 1-1 against Chattanooga. Pedro Hernandez scored 20 minutes in for the Red Wolves. Pedro Hernandez also picked up a red card later in the match. They put the Red Wolves down. Shivani Willis scored 90 plus 3 for Omaha to steal a point. For an Omaha corner. Jay Mims actually thought that match last week against Chattanooga was the best start they'd had all year. Really good in the first 20 minutes, aggressive, getting crosses in, shots in. The goal that Chattanooga scored was against the run of play, and they just lost some swagger and confidence after that, Omaha. Had it back as the second half wore on. They were proud of that and battling back to earn the point and keep the unbeaten streak alive. The Tifo reads at Warner Park, Bujos never say die. It's going to take a lot to beat this Owls team at any point in the season. With only 2 losses on the year. Doyle from the corner. Header in! JP Skiers capitalizes on Ofek Antman misjudging the flight of the ball. It's his team best 5th of the season, and Omaha have taken a lead. Of all the players to lose sight of defensively, if you're Fuego, that's the last person. Skier so dangerous in the air. Antman just misjudges it, over-aggressive, came out for it. The old adage for a goalkeeper, you either get the ball or you get the man. He got neither, and he got scored on. It was right around this time that Omaha last week conceded against the Red Wolves, now out to a lead of their own. Omaha this season, 4 wins of their 5 have come when scoring first. They have, however, lost twice when scoring first this season. Or pardon me, lost once and drawn twice. On the 7 occasions in which they've scored first, 3 times they did allow all 3 points to slip through the fingers. magic number for the Owls is 2. On 5 occasions this season, they've scored 2 goals or more, 4 wins and a draw in those 5. But if you were sitting at the beginning of August in game number 17 of the season, and you've only on 5 occasions scored 2 goals or more, it is the root cause of your draw issue. Hard to end up with anything but a draw when you're failing to score 2 goals or more on a regular basis. But they've given themselves ample time tonight to find a second. Waited all the way until the 93rd last week. Only took until the 23rd this week. Omaha have done some extra fitness the last 2-3 weeks, done some extra lifting, doing the little things so they can hit that second gear at this stage of the season. The belief has started to grow among the locker room that the worm is about to turn, which is scary to say about a team that is still unbeaten in the last 7. But 5 of those draws doesn't feel like an unbeaten run. Foul call from Joseph Salinas. Now it falls back to Fuego to figure something out and playing from behind. They have just won twice this season in 8 home matches at a place where they want to turn a fortress. Been anything but so far. Fuego haven't seen much of the ball in the attacking half of the field. Ramos gets it across midfield and is immediately turned back all the way to the keeper. Omaha so difficult to break down in their defensive shape. Now a free kick on the way for the Owls. Yellow card coming out of the pocket as well for Partida. Unnecessary challenge there from Partida. Omaha, one of just 2 teams with fewer goals on the season than Fuego. Difference is Omaha have only allowed a league best 13 goals. Fuego, they are 3rd from the bottom, having allowed 26 coming in tonight, now 27. So Fuego have allowed twice as many goals as Omaha. Bijev. Nuhu, secure grab. That's why Omaha has been able to manage so many points. Some tough matches they've had through the middle portion of the season. All of these draws, while they've been figuring things out offensively, it stems from that man there, leading the Golden Glove race Goals against average of 0.7 on the season coming in. 7 clean sheets as a club, and just 13 goals allowed in 16 games played. Half an hour gone, and that takes us into our first half hydration break. Temperatures above 90 degrees tonight. Goal scored back in the 23rd minute by Union Omaha. J.P. Scarce with a 5th on the season. Leads the team. Have another look at it here. It came from the corner. The blame can be shared by a number of players involved here. First of all, you look at Ant-Man for misjudging it off the line. Stay put, and you've got a fighting chance at saving it. And then you look to Jordan Chavez and Tunde Akinlasotu. Akinlasotu let Skiers get behind, passed him off to Chavez. Chavez didn't get there in time. Split the blame really 3 ways among those 3 guys, Akinlasotu, Chavez, and Ant-Man. A disappointed looking Martin Vasquez. This game is still 1-0 Omaha because of Rashid Nuhu. Just 8 minutes prior to Omaha opening the scoring, Billion Bijev had a chance from 12 yards out on the penalty that was conceded by Nuhu himself. And it turned into a big save by Nuhu. He will get a lot of love, no doubt, from his teammates in the locker room at halftime. Your goalkeeper makes a mess like that, conceding a penalty, and then goes out there and makes the stop. Very easy to play this game when you have so much belief in your keeper behind you. Takes a lot to get it by Rashid Nuhu. He's been one of the best keepers in the league each of the last 3 seasons now. 2020 burst onto the scene. Last year, of course, top keeper in the league. Now this year on his way again as the offside flag comes up. Daye looking for some help. Finally gets it along to Partida. Foul, great ball in toward Bijev. It died at the very end. Driven ball from Ramos, still going. That ball's gone. Finished as a 2-0 victory for Northern Colorado over South Georgia Tormenta. Chattanooga on its way to a victory over Greenville. 15 minutes remaining, up by 2 goals. In a 3-1 score line, which is the same score line that Richmond beat Tucson by earlier in the evening. That enabled Richmond to become the first team in the league this year to sweep an opponent in all 3 matches. There have been a few instances where you've had 2 wins and a draw, a win and 2 draws where teams have gone undefeated against other teams. Richmond over Tucson, the first clean sweep with 3 victories in any individual series this season. Charlotte had a chance last night against Madison, turned into a 0-0 draw. Akinlasotu. Good cut inside, lays it off. Chance here. Cerritos had his shot blocked. before that chance right there, Fuego, as a team, only had 3 touches in the Omaha 18-yard box. It's tough to find a goal when in a half you only have 3 touches in the opposition box. You're not getting into the dangerous areas. Millian Bijev can crack one from 25 yards with the best of them, but you can't rely on that. Daye throws the foul. Perhaps they get into that dangerous area here off the free kick. This Fuego side didn't actually come alive on Wednesday night until they were down a goal. Gave up the goal in the 73rd minute to Chattanooga. And all of a sudden, they figured things out. Here's a last look at that near chance for Cerritos. Good work by Achilles Sotu to get it there. Cerritos couldn't hit it first time, sort of handcuffed him. And after that first touch to settle, he was swarmed. Not much he could do. Bijev. Heavy header well off target. Effort from Sam Strong. Again, last month brought on loan from Monterey. They lost Frankie Dulis to an injury. They're not exactly sure when he's going to come back, Fuego. A significant injury to Dulis. They lost a lot in losing Dulis. He had played every minute of every game and was one of the core players of the group. Martin Vasquez called Strong a hard-nosed defender. Came in right away against Richmond and helped them earn a victory. They know that Dulis will be on the shelf for a while, and they know that there are not too many replacements as capable as Sam Strong that are readily available for loan around the leagues. Frank Yallop, a big fan of Sam Strong, back with the last iteration of a Fresno franchise in USL. Played back in the front here as it's headed away. Back with the last iteration of a Fresno franchise in USL. Sam Strong was under the tutelage of Frank Yallop on the roster. And after Frank Yallop took over Monterey Bay, brought in Sam Strong. And only played 3 matches though for Monterey Bay before they realized he needed to go somewhere else to get some minutes. Expected goals are a fun little tool to give you a sense of a team's ability to create chances in a match, but it's nights like this that show you it's still not an exact science. A penalty, of course, factors in so much when you have one in a game. Depending on the formula used, the penalty in and of itself will add 0.5 expected goals. Fuego at 1.05, Omaha at 0.24. Your eyes would tell you a much different story in this one. Omaha haven't been too dangerous in their own right. But when they've attacked with efficiency. They got the goal off the corner. Brito picks up a yellow. Free kick driven in. Fuego struggling to create. Daye. Nobody making that run at the backside of the 6. That's a good ball in from Daye. Somebody has to be there. Perhaps for Fuego, it's just a lack of a true number 9 that's capable of getting you the goals when you need them. You could argue they have that in Cheney, sitting on the bench. But that is a striker not in a great mental state right now. Not in great form. Had 3 dastardly misses on Wednesday. 2 from the run of play from point blank range, and then 1 from the penalty spot at the last kick of the ball. So much of being a number 9 goes into your psyche. He's not in a good way right now. And then you've got Bijev, who occupies that space, and he scores goals at a really strong clip. Did it in USL Championship. He's done it here, but he doesn't like operating from the 9. He's more of a player who likes to go from the outside in, come up that left wing, cut in when he can, sneak his way centrally, working outside in as a winger. I don't mean to equate him to this player that I'm about to mention in terms of the level and the talent, but anybody watching familiar with the stylings of Christian Pulisic for Chelsea and for U.S. men's national team, he's not a 9. He'll play out on the wing, drift centrally, and do the damage. That's the way Bijev plays. They use him now as a 9 because they don't have any other options. They can get Cheney going in the form they know he's capable of. It has a domino effect because now Bijev can go back out to the left side where he's more comfortable. You can play them together instead of an either-or proposition. Space for Akin Lesotho in the dying moments of half number 1. Steal Akin Lesotho. Out wide to Sharif Daye. Daye off the bar. You get the sense for Fuego, with the rut they're in offensively, it's going to be a mistake from the opposition or a moment of pure brilliance from one of the 11 in your kit. That's what it nearly was here. Back to Ryan Jiba. Jiba drives it. Shot deflected by Kamatani initially as he whipped around for the second effort. Just misfired, out for a goal kick. To look at that one a second time to know exactly what is ailing Chavez. Stoppage time now in the first half. 4 minutes tacked on. Omaha really haven't had to do much offensively ever since they scored the goal. They are perfectly content winning a match 1-0, if that's what it takes. Only 13 goals conceded on the season for Union Omaha. It takes a lot to break them down. Don't forget, this Omaha team, the first month of the season, had a couple of instances in which they allowed 2 goals or more against Madison and Charlotte in 2 of their first 4 games. They've only conceded 9 goals since the beginning of May, Omaha. Enough for 0.75 per game. During this unbeaten run of theirs, if not for the unbeaten run beginning with a 3-2 draw, excuse me, a 3-2 victory, 3-2 is not a draw, they've been in quite the run of form. After that 3-2 win, clean sheet, 1 goal allowed. 1 goal allowed. Clean sheet, 1 goal allowed. More 1s and 0s in a computer sequence in terms of their goals conceded. It's just how Jay Mims likes it. They pride themselves on their defensive efforts they have for the last couple of years. When the offense meets the defense, that's when you have the recipe for championship success. And that's what it was last year. A team that we come to know for their defensive efforts ended up near the top of USL League One in goals scored. Their run of the title involves just a few thrashings of teams. See Tucson, the business end of one of those. Greenville in the final as well. Omaha was on a mission. You get the sense they have an offensive run like that in them, given the talent they have, given the talent they've just brought in. The likes of Luis Heel, Corey Herzog. As long as that back line and Rashid Nuhu remain intact the way they've been playing, some nights all it'll take is 1. So far, that's what it's looking like here. Still 45 more minutes to play for Fuego to wake up. Omaha have lulled them to sleep. Made life very difficult for the home side. They'd like some insurance if they can get it. In 5 matches this year in which they've scored 2 goals or more, 4 wins and a draw for Omaha. They're also stellar when scoring first. 4 wins, 1 loss, 2 draws. And that's the case tonight. They strike first all the way back in the 23rd minute, courtesy of JP Skeers. And they have a 1-0 lead going into the break here on the road against Central Valley Fuego. More coming up next from Fresno, California.
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals. I'm on that routine. I'm on that routine.
At the break between Fuego and Omaha, it's 1-0 to the visiting side. Goal in the 23rd minute by J.P. Skeers has the Owls up. It is the nightcap of a 4-match Saturday. We had plenty of action in the week leading up as well. John Gross with the highlights.
We start things off Tuesday night in Colorado, Severance, Colorado to be exact. Severance Stadium, the 25th host venue of a League One match this season. Northern Colorado was hoping to christen it with the victory, but Emiliano Trozaghi in the 32nd minute, he had different ideas. How about this goal as it skips hard on the turf into the back of the net? I don't know if anybody else in League One can make a goal like that. There's a reason why that guy is a multi-time MVP. Northern Colorado looking for that response. It's Arthur Rogers who finds Trevor Ammon. Second effort here. It's Akira Fitzgerald, a diving stop, one of 6 saves for Fitzgerald, a seasoned veteran in net, keeping his side in front. And then Fitzgerald gets some help from an old friend, the post. And a backline defender, Dakota Barnathan, cleared off the end line. 1-0 the final. Richmond victorious. 5th clean sheet of the season. Richmond entered Saturday just a point away from the top of the table. We go out west. Central Valley Fuego welcomes Chattanooga Red Wolves. And early on, Alex Tejera. How about that save by Ofek Antman? Tried the midfield strike, and Ofek Antman had to be wide awake. Thankfully for Fuego, he was. Diving stop for him. Chattanooga looking for that goal to take the advantage. Lombardi heads down and comes out to a substitute. Andres Hernandez, the 6th Chattanooga goal scored this season by a substitute, which leads USL League One. They've had instant impact off the bench, and it's Hernandez who gets it done to put his side up 1-0. But Central Valley Fuego not done just yet. They try to test the backup keeper, Tor Saunders. He came on after Carlos Avila's injury. Then in stoppage time, it's Cheney maneuvering through traffic. Falk on the follow. Handball, no doubt about it. Take a look back at it. That clearly came off the hand of Benton. First penalty kick of the season for Fuego, and it's wide. Christian Cheney wanted it. Saunders guessed the right direction, but it did not seem to matter. Ball was off target. 1-0 the backup keeper. And his side, victorious. Chattanooga, 3 big points on the road out west. And then last night, Friday night, Charlotte Independence welcomed Forward Madison. Would we finally see a high-scoring match? We would not. Raiko Rosarena His stop on Koa Santos, one of his 6 saves. Remember that name, not just for these highlights, but throughout the rest of the season. A guy who has completely changed the season for Forward Madison. On the attacking end, Roger Smith, how does this not go in? You have Abdou Bakijam sitting on the goal line. Jeremiah Strango has 4 goals this year, just whiffs at the kick attempt. It's cleared away, still 0-0 at this point. Beautiful through ball to Roger Smith once again. Can he atone for the previous error? No, he cannot. Adrian Zendejas was not tested much last night. Had to make just 2 saves. This is one of them. O.J. Smith, the guy who had scored in 4 matches of the prior 6 entering last night's affair. But late in the second half, Charlotte looking for that winner. It's Omar Sis who led his side with 5 shots, 2 of which ended up on target, including this look. But again, it's that man, Raiko Arozarena, a fingertip save. And then Ilya Shevstov finds Ibarra to assist this in stoppage time. Again, it's a Rosarena, an emphatic denial, turning away Sis. 0-0 the final, 9th 0-0 draw of the season. First at home for Charlotte Independence since September of 2022. More coming up after this. Now this from the USL.
We all have goals. But let's be honest, most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals. I'm on that routine.
The Jamaican Malik Foster. The Panenka, absolutely disgusting, plenty of times. Saved by Viniello! Rodrigo Lopez. It's improbable! It's indomitable! It's another cup set!
Chills every time, and every time I watch it, what Malik Foster did gets more and more disrespectful, and I love every second of it. Sacramento Republic through to the U.S. Open Cup final on September 7th, where they will meet Orlando City, a former USL Championship side themselves. So USL's fingerprints all over the Open Cup's final this year. Hailstorm have now twice played in Severance, 25 venues to have hosted a League One match. 2 new additions, we might see them both in our second half here. Corey Herzog for Omaha and Adrian Vera for Central Valley Fuego. 2 players with a lot of USL Championship experience and terrific experience at that, who might both debut for their new clubs tonight in this one.
We all have goals. But let's be honest, most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals. I'm on that routine.
Ready to get things going in just a few moments here in half number 2 between Central Valley Fuego and Union Omaha. Fuego El Fox is having some fun down on the field. Is that the Macarena from a Fox? Cross that off the bingo card of weird things you didn't think you'd see today. A Fox doing the Macarena. We saw a lot of fun stuff in that first half. With a look back at highlights now from half number 1. We will leave the dance stylings of Fuego El Fox out of the highlights. Early on, it started on a set piece that was just over the bar from Noe Meza. That was maybe an early indication that Union Omaha might be on the front foot. That foul was drawn just 30 seconds into the match. And then from there, a lot of balls sent forward. First 20-25 minutes, Omaha started strong. After they scored the goal, they didn't really do much offensively, but that's their MO. They're terrific defensively. They go get the goal they need to get, and then they're going to sit back and dare you to score on them, as many teams have tried and failed to do this season, tied for the league lead with 7 clean sheets in 16 matches. They've played 16, 9 times they've been scored on, and 7 times they have not been scored on. That's a pretty strong clip for Union Omaha. They're willing to hang their hats on the fact that they're going to post a clean sheet. So after that goal was scored, we see a lot of these highlights shift the other way. It's Fuego on the front foot, creating opportunities, but nothing that they're able to get beyond Rashid Nuhu. They had this opportunity at a penalty. That came 15 minutes in. Julian Bijev drew it. Rashid Nuhu caused it. And it would be those two meeting again from 12 yards out. Bijev to take it. Nuhu trying to stop it, and he succeeds. Made the mess, cleaned the mess. And it was still scoreless at this point. It would not be scoreless for much longer. Omaha used that, harnessed it. Momentum now offensively. JP Skierce, a team best 5th goal of the season. Misplayed defensively by a couple of players. Chavez, Akin Lesotho missed the marker of the most important man you have to mark on a set piece when it comes to Omaha. And then Opek Antman misjudged the flight of the ball. They had one cracking chance here. Did Fuego. Sharif Daye from way out put it off the bar. It was 1-0 at the break. We'll see what half number 2 brings now. We'll look at stats from that first half. The shots are even. Shots on target aren't all that different. The possession slanted heavily in Fuego's favor, but it's 1-0 Omaha. And if you were to look at a number of Omaha victories from past seasons, you'd probably see similar stat lines to this one right here. They do what they got to do, they score, and they will defend until the end. Very tough to break down. And if you do break down a stellar back line, then you have to contest with Rashid Nuhu. He's out there for half number 2. Is this the half? Neither of these sides finally come alive offensively. Omaha doesn't have to. Fuego, they do have to. They've been shut out in each of the last 2 matches. A 4-0 loss to Charlotte, a 1-0 loss to Chattanooga. And that's on the heels of a 3-goal explosion against Richmond, a 3-1 win near the end of July. Fuego from right to left in the red, Omaha from left to right in the white. We're underway in half number 2 with Omaha out to a 1-0 lead. Central Valley Fuego have enjoyed a couple of games where they exploded offensively. Outside of that, lackluster would be the best word to sum it up. First month of the year, played to a 3-3 draw against Charlotte. Then in June, a 3-2 win over North Carolina. Also a 4-0 win in May over Tormenta. And that 3-0 win over Richmond. So on those 4 days, the goals came in bunches. They've played 18 games on the season. They've scored 22 goals. 13 of their 22 goals were concentrated to those 4 games. They have 9 goals from the other 14 games. So when they're hot on those 4 nights. Outside of that, it has been a chore to score goals for Fuego. Skiers feeds along. Now Brito. Daye. Sharif Daye with Alexis Cerritos. And that's where it usually breaks down for Fuego. Every other USL League One game for the evening is now officially in the books, and that includes the Red Wolves triumph match. That was delayed quite a while by weather. It was worth the wait for any Chattanooga fans who remained in the stadium because they saw a 5-goal outburst from their Red Wolves. Result by the Red Wolves will keep the Richmond Kickers in first place by the end of the evening. Earlier in the first half, I was talking a bit about Omaha's chances at climbing the table because of the games they have in hand and the tight nature still of the table. If I had to say as of today on August 6th, this Omaha team a much better chance of ending up with a bye still than of missing the playoffs with the talent they have, the way they're coached, and the success they've had in recent years. If this current result holds, on 27 points they'd be above the playoff line. Chance here to double their tally as well. G-Butt lays it off. All the way back to Skiers with 1 goal already. Skiers feeds it through at the end line, thrown in front, and now out for a corner. So they're at 27 points above the playoff line. They have 3 games in hand on second place Greenville, and they're just 5 points back with those 3 games in hand. So tell me a bye is not within reach still for this Omaha team. That seems to be a sleeping giant. They need an awakening offensively. Acquisitions like Luis Heel and Corey Herzog can help put that in the right direction. Brito from the corner, right at Antman. Jay Mims felt as much as well. They put a lot of time over the last couple of weeks, and a lot of emphasis on scoring more goals. All the work they've put in, working on different types of finishes, passes, cutbacks, tons of video work, tons of on-field work, tons of off-field work. They're waiting for that night to break out with a couple of goals. They feel it's coming. Until then, as long as they're playing this well defensively, a scoreline like this will do. But a chance now to add some insurance up the right side. It's Bawa, great tackle put in by Sam Strong. That gets a rise out of the crowd. He had a lot of ground to cover to catch the pacey Isaac Bawa. Watch where Strong starts. He's out of the picture right now. There he is flying through. You have to time that perfectly at the edge of the area like that, and he did. For an Omaha team looking to climb that table, 3 points tonight on the road would feel really good, especially when you look at the schedule and you see they have 3 matches at home following this one. And those come against Northern Colorado, Charlotte, and North Carolina. 3 teams below Union Omaha in the standings. Charlotte have played better of late in terms of the results. 2 wins from the last 3. Only 1 loss in the last 5. Northern Colorado coming off of a win tonight. Form has been uneven. Aside from that, North Carolina really struggling down near the bottom, just above FC Tucson. 3 straight losses for North Carolina FC. Here's Bijev. Well won by Alex Touche. Back to Etman. Now Bijev. Frustrated after that pass. Cerritos. Bijev still frustrated, top of the area. You can read it all over the body language, not hiding it at all. It's hard to blame him right now with the offensive form this team has been in. With all the pieces, the veteran, talented pieces Fuego have in the arsenal, you still have a growing sense there's one tool missing, and it's a true out-and-out goal scorer to pair with Bijev. It's frustrating when you're a creative type player like Bijev. Nobody to get on the end of what you're trying to do. Talked about it a bit in the first half. Without an out-and-out number 9, Bijev is sort of forced into that role. And he's a fish out of water in that role. He wants to sit underneath. He wants to create. He wants to be on that left wing and catch you sleeping on a run centrally. It's how he scored 12 goals last year in USL Championship. Success with Oklahoma City, with Sacramento. If you get an out-and-out number 9 to put into the mix here for Fuego, or if Cheney can just regain that top-tier form, you're almost gaining 2 players. You're getting that number 9, and you're getting the real Viljan Bijev, where he's most comfortable. It's still what they're missing. Rolled back to Doyle. Don't often see that from Connor Doyle. After he gives it away, he works to win it back, but it's still Dye. Now Cerritos, Bijev lurking ahead. Still Cerritos, indecisive. Now Daye. Easily won back by Omaha. Omaha is a team that you have to break down in transition if the moment's there. Take that much time, they're going to put 8 white jerseys behind the ball and make life very difficult on you. Give a lot of credit to the supporter section here for Fuego. There hasn't been a lot to support over the last couple of matches at home. The team going through a woeful goal-scoring drought. The only saving grace was that 3-1 outburst against the Richmond team that went down a man. Outside of that, since the beginning of July, a 1-0 loss, followed by a 1-0 loss, followed by a 1-0 win. Of course, that 3-1 game against Richmond, and correction, they went down 2 men in that game and lost 4-0 against Charlotte and 1-0 against Chattanooga. Played in front here. Omaha all of a sudden knocking on the door, looking for that insurance. So in the last 6 games for Fuego, they have been held without a goal 4 times. And on the other occasion, they scored just 1, with the outlier being that Richmond game, up 2 men, winning 3-1. Now we're near the hour mark here of what might be another goalless performance for Fuego. The most troublesome side might be the manner in which last game ended and this one began. It's one thing to be in a goal-scoring drought, but psychologically, you see 2 penalties for your team in the span of 17 minutes of actual gameplay from one game into another that are both missed. And you start wondering what the heck you actually have to do to score a goal. A look again at some of the scores from around the league. Hailstorm with a victory. Chattanooga put in 5 on Greenville. There's always something between those 2 teams, whether it's goals or red cards. You know you're in for fireworks when Chattanooga and Greenville meet. And they're always tight games as well. That 5-1 scoreline, the first time ever between Chattanooga and Greenville in 13 matchups. That did not finish as either a draw or a 1-goal game. On a technicality, you've got the playoff game from last year. It did finish 2-0, but that was after extra time, so it was 0-0 through 90 and goes down to the book as a tie. Daye, again nobody making that run to the back post, and Bijev frustrated centrally. Exchanging words with Cerritos. We saw it in the first half, we see it now. On a couple of occasions, the service has been there. There's just been nobody in a red jersey in the same zip code as the ball. Another set piece on the way now for Omaha. It's where they could be so deadly. To target men like JP Skeers, as Fuego learned in the first half. This, however, is in that gray area. Probably about 5 to 7 yards further than you'd like to have a shot. It's way too central to put a cross in. You've You've either got to have a very confident free kick taker to go for goal here in Brito, and he might be, or you play this one out to the wing and let somebody else whip it across. Brito does neither. Not a bad effort. It's so tough to get a well-angled ball in when you're that central on the pitch. Hour gone, half hour to go. Omaha 1, Fuego nothing on the goal scored in the 23rd minute by JP Skeers. Joe Malfa with you this evening on ESPN Plus from Fresno State Soccer Stadium. Coming into the night, both of these teams were below the playoff line. A win for either, however, would have propelled them up a few spots and above that playoff line, which is where Omaha currently resides in the live table. With still perhaps a lot of climbing left to do. 3 games in hand on the top 3 teams and 2 games in hand on the team they're tied on 27 points with in Tormenta. Chattanooga, 28 points from 20 games. Greenville, 32 from 20 games. Richmond, 34 from 20 games. And Omaha, 27 from 17. In a perfect world, which we don't live in, not everything goes as you'd like to. Jay Mims goes out and has his squad win those 3 games in hand, and they're in first place, so they do control their destiny right now in USL League One. Long way to go before we can really start putting a microscope on all of that. But if you're Jay Mims in charge of a squad that has yet to wake up offensively, a squad that has only lost twice on the season, and a squad that has an absurd 9 draws, to be in a spot where you control your destiny, even the games you have in hand, the points you have available, you would sign up for that 10 times out of 10, knowing this team, this organization, the last couple of years has shown that late season kick is there. You await the potential insertion of Corey Herzog. He might not be the Corey Herzog of old, but he's still got more than enough in those legs, as we saw in his brief stint this season with Hartford Athletic before he made the move now to Omaha. Still got more than enough in those legs to be an impactful player. Probably can't go 90 too often, but can he go 60 or 30? Can he score the big goals when you need them most? The familiarity with Jay Mims, who was one of his assistants when he was a college player at Penn State. Early in the coaching career of Jay Mims, cross paths there with Corey Herzog, and now on the same side again. 2 changes being readied by Fuego. Falk. Now Ramos. Hornsby. Good ball whipped in. Bijev close to it. Not close enough. Bijev camped under it. And is whistled for a foul. Pair of changes coming now for both sides. Kamatani will exit. Dianakov in for Kamatani. Christian Cheney into the match for Sharif Dye. Also Jose Villarreal in for Jesus Partida. All subs brought to you by Dos Equis. Hornsby. Doyle intercepts. Out to Akov with the fresh legs. Mesa camped out centrally with Brito. Corner on the way for Omaha. That's how they scored their only goal. Eddie Gordon, the other sub for Omaha, came in for Ryan Jiba. Joe Brito will take it. Curled in toward the near post. Hornsby meets it. Cerritos looking to lead the charge in transition. That's how you have to beat Omaha if you can. But that last touch too heavy. Now you see with Cheney out there, Bijev no longer operating as the 9. Back on the left side where he's most comfortable. See if that can be the spark Fuego needs. And we'll see what Cheney looks like. Cheney! That looked good. And he's going to want to find some chances early and often here to erase the memory of Wednesday. Missed 2 point-blank opportunities from good service from out wide. And that goes back to the whole debate of, are you happy you're at least creating the chances or more mad that you're not finishing them? The chances were created. He did find the soft spot in the defense, got to the top of the 6, wide open, but both times missed. And then in the last minute of stoppage time, pushed the penalty wide of the goal frame. You can't miss target on a penalty. Have to at least force the keeper to make a save. So after a night like that, in a position where the mental state can be so fickle, you wonder what Cheney looks like tonight. Can he snap back into it? He'll be the difference maker Fuego needs. He has 5 goals. Bijev has 5 goals. With the lack of production from the rest of the group, you get the sense that Fuego are to level. One of those 2 would increase their tally to 6. Hasn't been much for Rashid Nuhu to do in this second half. He's had to deal with a couple of crosses like that, but 0 shots from Fuego. Not just shots on target, shots period, none have been sent Nuhu's way. This was the case on Wednesday as well, up until Fuego got scored on. After they went down 1-0 against Chattanooga, things changed. Prior to that point, they had 3 shots in the match, only 1 in the second half. From that point onward, after going down a goal and down to 10 men, they had 7 shots and 4 on target in the last 20 minutes of play. Might tap into that form again. They'll do it in small spurts, but won't keep it consistent enough. Villarreal. Look in Lesotho. Splits it through for Cerritos, who goes down. Made a meal of that one. There was some contact. Enough to elicit a reaction like that. He tried to sell it, give him credit. But give Joseph Salinas some more credit for not being duped into that call. Villarreal. Good lunging play by Knutson. Ramos. Bijev has flipped over now to the right side for a bit. Out for a corner. El Mexicano corner for Fuego. It is their first corner of the second half. It's a good service. Dropped in toward Cheney and headed the other way instead. Meza guides it away. Falk puts it back into the mix. Offside flag came up. In the second half alone, nearly 60% of the possession has gone Fuego's way. Cheney lost it. Skiers tracking back, doing the work. Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access Tuesday nights at 7 Eastern, plus hear live matches from the USL, MLS, English Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app. Premier League began today. Liverpool a 2-2 draw. You wonder if Ilyan Bijev kept some tabs on his former club, began his career with Liverpool before coming stateside and enjoying a very successful career in USL. Cheney pushing through in the pocket of Touche, but Touche wins that battle. Two-handed shove from behind by Chavez. Was unnoticed, wins the ball for a moment, but now out for a throw. Omaha readying another change. Luis Gil is the one likely on the way out for Giovanni Willis when that sub takes place. And here it is. Luis Gil sent off the far side of the field. Far side from the benches, that is. He'll have the long walk around as Willis will enter. Scored last week in stoppage time, the dramatic equalizer against Chattanooga to keep the unbeaten run intact for Omaha. All subs tonight brought to you by Dos Equis. Unbeaten run is now at 7. But they haven't climbed in the table as much as they would have hoped because of those 7-5 were draws. J. Mims had nothing but praise to heap on Shivani Willis. Played out wide to Akin Lesotho. Options in front, put wide. Villarreal did not open the hip enough. Might have taken a touch in there as well. It is a corner. Looked like he just misfired. Another El Mexicano corner for Fuego. Villarreal easily guided away by Meza. Hornsby. Bijev. Good service from Bijev. Falk unable to steer it goalward. Offside flag came up as well. Talking about Shivani Willis and sending the praise his way, Mim said that he's going to build up his game fitness right now. The personality is shining through. A great teammate, even though he hasn't been getting the minutes. 2 to 3 weeks ago, they started encouraging him to do more running on his own, do more fitness. Because even in practice, he's running out of gas on certain things. He's really tried to bring his fitness to another level. That's why he's been rewarded with some minutes and made the most of them with that late goal last week. And he used that as a springboard to more now for the Owls down the stretch. Just under a quarter of an hour remaining from Fresno State Soccer Stadium in Fresno, California. Joe Malfa with you tonight for the action between Fuego and Omaha. The visiting Owls up 1-0 on a goal scored back in the 23rd minute by J.P. Skeers, a team leading 5th for Omaha. Maxi Schenfeld into the match now for Fuego. Out of the match is Alexis Cerritos, the latest Dos Equis substitution. Yellow card issued to Christian Cheney. That's a yellow card for dissent, and that is going to drive Martin Vasquez absolutely mad. He was asked about Diego Casillas' red card in the midweek against Chattanooga. It came on a silly foul at midfield that, to be fair, should not, by any stretch of the imagination, have been a second yellow card. But the first one was foolish, and he put himself in that pickle because that first yellow was for dissent. And Martin Vasquez went on to say that's not allowed, that's not acceptable to put yourself in that position. They're a team that gets a lot of yellow cards because they like to compete, which is okay with him. But getting yellow cards for dissent is not acceptable. It's being selfish. And Cheney, the latest to pick up a selfish yellow card in that regard. Toward Cheney, but guided away. Knockoff with Willis on his horse up the left side. Option centrally is Brito. Could be a 3-on-1. Willis gets it toward Brito, but the last second deflection from Strong puts it out for a corner. Perfectly okay playing it just like this, Union Omaha. They got their goal early. They're the best defensive team in the league. And now they wait for a counter late for the insurance. They don't have to get the insurance. 1-0 will do the trick. It would help them breathe a lot easier. That man tracks it. Skeers apologetic, no intent, it appeared. Look at the upcoming schedule around the league. It's North Carolina next for Fuego, their lone road match of the month of August. Strike from distance is just wide. Fuego unable to capitalize on Wednesday against Chattanooga in their first home game of the month. Akin Lesotho was down for a moment, but now back to his feet. Fuego certainly had to have hoped tonight would be a much better result in their second of 5 home matches in the month of August. Unfortunately for them, trending toward the same result they had on Wednesday, a 1-0 defeat. It would be the fifth 5th 1-0 scoreline in their last 7 matches as a whole. And it would be the 4th of the 5 that they'd be on the wrong side of. The lone win coming against Northern Colorado. With the 1-0 losses potentially coming against Tormenta, Greenville, Chattanooga, and now Omaha. Hornsby. Decent spell of possession here for Fuego, but it's going the wrong way now. There's no question about the dominance they've showed in terms of controlling the ball in this match. It hasn't come with anything meaningful moving forward. 3 shots in the second half, none of the 3 on target. And you've got 66% of the possession, but not one effort on goal. Got a lot to work out. And here comes the Union Omaha debut of Corey Herzog. Adrian Vera also makes his debut for Fuego, so we see it at the same interval. Vera debuts for Fuego, Herzog debuts for Omaha. Corey Herzog, a USL Championship legend, 3rd all-time in USL Championship in the all-time goal list. Has scored this year for Hartford before he made the move now to Omaha. Had a nice little stint there before the change. Last year and the last couple of years, success at San Diego. Actually played against Omaha this year in Open Cup with Des Moines Menace. We've been building it up all week. If you tune into halftime during the news and notes segment, Vera to Fuego, Herzog to Omaha, and now you see them used during the same substitution interval against each other in the same match. Cheney flicks it on, the flag did come up. Fuego in this second half, as many offsides as they have shots, 3 apiece. Urgency has to pick up now from Fuego. We're into the final 5 minutes. They're down a goal. They're searching for their first shot on target of the second half. A lot of the possession has been backward, but you have to tip the cap to Omaha. It's not just by design that Fuego is passing around the back. That's not the intent. It's by force. Omaha not allowing anything through the lines or over the top. Such a compact shape defensively. Hard pressed to find a more organized team in all of USL League One. And what Jay Mims has here for this crew. You don't end up on the brink of an 8th clean sheet by accident. You don't end up allowing just 13 goals through nearly 17 games by accident. Those are 2 incredible marks by Omaha. It stems from the organization, in the shape, in the knowledge of the assignments. It also helps to have Rashid Nuhu back there. Don't forget his penalty stop back in the 15th minute. He created the issue himself with the foul, and then he made the stop. This would be an 8th clean sheet in 17 matches for Omaha. That's nearly 50%. Meaning you are just about as likely to not score against them as you are to score in a given match. And that is a ridiculous clip defensively. Hornsby gets it back from Vera. Curious to see how Vera works in on that left side, how quickly he can get comfortable with this unit. Has been training now over the last week with Fuego. Schenfeld for Bijev, now operating out of the right side. Only 2 minutes remaining. No signs of life offensively for Fuego. Hornsby looking to change that here. The offside flag again ends that attack before it even materializes. Fuego really struggling tonight with that back line of Omaha reading, and they are going to step up. That is the 7th time tonight Fuego have been caught offside. I don't mean to pile on Fuego here, but when the stats are this damning and you are on the brink of a 3rd consecutive scoreless showing, you have to point things out. Cheney hoping to change that here, but the same result. It falls for a volley that's blocked. They have 9 touches in the Omaha box, and they have 7 offside. You do not want those numbers to be that close to each other. It is not a recipe for success. You can't pin it all on Fuego. They're doing all they can, but they are meeting the same fate as a lot of other teams that have come up against Union Omaha this year. Talk about the organization, talk about understanding the assignments. How about the willingness and the sacrifice to get in front of every ball that is sent their way? 2 blocks in this sequence. Skierce, Bawa, putting bodies on the line. We're in the 90th minute of a grueling match in over 90-degree temperatures, and they are digging to the depths of their reserves to make these plays and preserve a 1-0 victory. 4 minutes added on to the end here, same as it was in the first half. And that'll be 4, of course, from when play resumes. So keep an eye on your clock. See when the ball actually does make its way back into the field of play. So 4 minutes from when play resumes. So you figure this is going to go to about 96 on your clock before we get the final whistle from Joseph Salinas. So you figure you will go here to 96. Just remember, as we get deeper into stoppage time, Bawa already back out onto the field, so not at a manpower disadvantage for too long, Omaha. This will be the final match to go final in Week 19. 2-0 for Northern Colorado, 5-1 for Chattanooga, 3-1 for Richmond. On Friday, a scoreless draw between Charlotte and Madison. On Wednesday, Fuego fell in their match against Chattanooga. Richmond picked up the win against Northern Colorado. So a 6-point week for Richmond. That sees Richmond right now at the top of the table in USL League One. The team that still controls destiny, however, is playing right now in Union Omaha. Should this result stand over the next 3 minutes, Omaha would be 7 points back of first place with 3 games in hand. Foul called against Fuego in the build-up. It's a lot to ask of Omaha to go a perfect 3-0-0 in those 3 games in hand in order to take over first place. But you pick up 2 wins and a draw in those 3, and you're tied there with Richmond. And here's that foul against Strong. Jay Mims, I believe, has this team exactly where he wants it. They know what it takes to grind in games, to avoid losing. They haven't quite flipped the switch to that winning mindset where the wins start pouring in droves. But anytime you can get through 17 games in a season with only 2 losses, you're doing something right. You're not doing everything right. Otherwise, it might be reversed where you have 9 wins and 6 draws instead of 6 wins and 9 draws. You're doing a lot of things right. And the worm will turn eventually offensively with the talent this team has. And the talent this team has just brought in. The likes of Herzog and Heel. 1 more to go. Remember when Bawa got up, clock started from there. So we've got 1 minute to play here in stoppage time. Pay no mind to the fact that it was +4, and we're already at 95. Not a mistake. Bijev. Collision. Cheney into Nuhu. Schenfeld takes it very wide, almost too much so. Vera clips it back post. Nobody home. Did take a deflection. This might be the last bite at the apple now for Fuego. Bijev doing some housekeeping, moving the ad board to get some more room for a long throw. Rashid Nuhu is still on the ground. If it is a time-wasting stint on the ground, doesn't serve much purpose. We were about 20, 30 seconds away from the end. This throw-in and the ensuing action almost certain to be the last plays of the game anyway. He's fit to continue, and we do continue with what might be the last chance now for Fuego. Flicked on, Strong lays it off, Chavez. Back for Ramos, clipped ahead, Strong, header and in! No save by Nuhu. It was saved off the line by Nuhu. It looked like it was through. Some Fuego players started celebrating. Let's have another look. What exactly happened here? Nuhu made the stop, it appeared. A couple of Fuego players started celebrating. Crowd started cheering. And that takes you to the final whistle. That was the last chance for Fuego. It was kept out after all that. And Omaha wins it 1-0. A fourth 1-0 loss in the last 7 games for Central Valley Fuego. And the 5th time they've been held without a goal in those 7. Julian Bijev voicing some displeasure to the officials. Perhaps just a frustration of the form being now taken out on the men in green. 3 straight matches held without a goal now for Fuego. 2 losses at home to begin this month of August, in which they had 5 out of 6 at home. And Union Omaha, they continue their unbeaten run, now up to 8. They snap their 3-game draw streak with a win and take it 1-0 tonight over Central Valley Fuego here in the Valley. Chances early on for Fuego, not much in the second half. Omaha able to hold on, and we come back in just a few moments to recap here from Fresno.
We all have goals. But let's be honest, most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals. I'm on that routine. I'm on that routine.
JP Skiers provided the winner tonight all the way back in the 23rd minute to give Union Omaha all 3 points and vault them above the playoff line here in USL League One. Now 6 wins, 2 losses, 9 draws on the season, and sitting in 5th place on 27 points. We take a look now at the full-time highlights from Fuego and Omaha. The JP Skiers providing the lone tally of the match. The chances came early for Omaha and Fuego. Fuego perhaps unfortunate not to capitalize early when they did, because it allowed Omaha to just bunker in and hold on for the rest of the way. Skiers now leads the way with 5 goals for Union Omaha. In the early stages, there was some action offensively for Fuego. It gave them this chance from 12 yards out. Good ball over the top. Bijev into space. Nuhu comes out. Caught too much of the body, maybe a little bit of a ball right there. His right leg, I believe, ended up on top of the ball, but Nuhu's body collided with Bijev's body. It didn't matter because he made the stop. When you do that little jump, skip, step right there, if you look up and you see the goalkeeper guesses the way you're about to go, you are a sitting duck and you are not going to score. But you know who is going to score? That's JP Skiers. When you leave him alone like that on a set piece, so good in the air. Two defenders missed their assignments there. Kayla Sotu and Chavez tried to pass him off to each other. Neither took him. And Ant-Man, the last line of defense, misjudged it, came out too strong, didn't get anything. It took one last save by your front runner for the Golden Glove and for goalkeeper of the year. Rashid Nuhu kicks out the left leg, keeps it out, just on the line. Makes the acrobatic stop. The reaction save to keep it 1-0. 14 shots, 4 on target for Fuego. It didn't really feel like it. Nothing too dangerous as the game wore on into the later stages. A defensive clinic again from Omaha. How many times have we said that this season? Through 17 games played, now 8 clean sheets. And through 17 games played, they've only allowed 13 goals. Remarkable feat from the defending champions here in USL League One. Now all the way up to 5th place in the league table. The scoreboard from around the league. One final reminder of how things went here in week 19. The big one that stands out, the eye-popping one, Chattanooga 5, Greenville 1. Also, Richmond became the first team this season to sweep all 3 games against an opponent, beating Tucson for a 3rd time. And this is your table going into week 20. Richmond, a 2-win, 7-day span, puts them atop the table after that sweep of the series against Tucson. Omaha with the win tonight. It's above the playoff line. Still remarkable to see a team with only 2 losses that low, but 17 games played, that's it. They have a lot of climbing to do and a lot of games in hand. And this is your slate for week 20. On Wednesday, North Carolina takes on Forward Madison. On Saturday, you have a slate of 5. You take your pick, and you look at the start times, 7, 7:30, 8, and 8. So at some point, all 4 of those games will be overlapping. Get multiple tabs going, get multiple screens going, or get your fingers ready to be clicking that mouse and flipping all around. Fuego, the Fox, well, he didn't have much to cheer about tonight. He did the Macarena coming out of halftime, and that was maybe the best action the fans got to see tonight from the home side as they fall 1-0 to Union Omaha. That does it for us here in Week 19 in USL League One. For the crew that makes this possible, I'm Joe Malva saying good night from Fresno, where Union Omaha fly to the 3 points, 1-0 over Central Valley Fuego.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League League One cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League League One.